My favorite lolcow, the goober of Gadoosh, Wes Watson, has been arrested. It happened last night while I was streaming, so it was a beautiful little present that we got to engage with and go down the rabbit hole on. And today, the rare super specimen alpha male was negotiating a bail with his lawyer to the judge. John Bravo covered it, and I want to show you a little bit of that bond hearing before showing you about the arrest. This is all tying back to that brutal assault he had on the 7-foot monster who accepted Wes Watson's challenge to fight him. The 7-foot monster went there expecting a 1v1. It was not a 1v1. Wes Watson was surrounded by the goof troop who beat him mercilessly with weight belts, dumbbells, and striking him in the head numerous times, upwards of 40 times, while he was down on the ground. And when the 7-foot monster was crawling away after everything was said and done, even though this had already been done and dusted, Wes Watson came back with a soccer kick that absolutely could have killed him, and it led to a facial fracture and concussion. Now, he has been arrested for felony battery.
Wes Watson, the piece of shit. He was in court this morning. They fuck up everywhere. They don't even see the guy has a prior, okay? But again, this is not a trial. This is just him begging and pleading with his bitch lawyer to try to get a bail for it.
I believe Mr. Watson has numerous defenses, including stand your ground, self-defense, and consent to this charge. I understand the state's theory. However, this individual came to Mr. Watson for the specific purpose of challenging him in a street fight.
Objection! I'm gonna hit you with that Phoenix right, because that's just not the whole truth, nothing but the truth. That's a fucking fib. Wes Watson has a history of challenging everyone who gadooshes him to fight him. He openly challenges tons and tons of people to come to his gym to fight him. And the 7-foot monster was one of those people that accepted the challenge. Yes, he filmed it. Yes, he was the one that pushed Wes Watson first, but he didn't strike Wes Watson. He approached him. They got into a verbal argument. He shoved Wes, and then that was the end of him attacking Wes. Then it was Wes and his 3 friends hitting him with dumbbells, weight belts, getting him to the floor and striking him in the head as many times as possible in like 2 minutes, and then Wes coming back after it was all over to soccer kick him in the head again. I truly don't believe that you can make a sound argument for self-defense when you watch the entirety of that footage. Now, this is not a trial, I recognize that. This is him just trying to get bail so he can post it. But they really do fuck up. They didn't know he had a prior? How? Wes Watson brags about his prior, the 7 years he spent in jail. He brags about that more than someone who peaked in high school who can't stop recounting the glory days of being the high school quarterback like 40 years ago. He will not stop talking about how much time he spent in jail, yet somehow they didn't know he had a prior?
Your Honor, I don't see any local or out-of-county priors here. I would defer to the court and just simply ask for the stay-away order.
The victim suffered a face fracture, concussion, and 2 black eyes, but it looks like you have a very valid legal argument, Mr. Gottlieb.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would ask for an ROR.
$2,500 count 1, $2,500 count 2 with the stay-away order.
Okay, I just want to, real quick.
Mr. Watson, please don't make any statements. You and I can talk about it. Thank you, sir.
Sorry about that.
No problem. No problem. I'll make sure your bond is arranged. Thank you, Your Honor.
Wes just couldn't help himself. He wanted to yap so badly. I bet he was offended that they didn't see his prior. He was probably going to correct them like, excuse me, Your Honor. This is a load of bullshit. I am a rich stud. I spent 7 years in the slammer, and now look at me. I'm driving 10 Bugattis, and I'm teaching men how to be like me, damn it. The super stud. I went to jail for 7 years. Don't you forget it. I mean this with no exaggeration. Him being in jail for 7 years is probably his proudest achievement. He does not shut the fuck up about it. He is always mentioning how he was in jail for 7 years. So I actually think he was hurt that they didn't see his prior. Now, this again was just for bail. I'm sure he's very happy with how this went down, but I'm hoping that when this does go to trial, they won't be making fuck-ups like this. They won't be making errors like overlooking the 7 years he had already spent locked up. Anyway, though, let's go over his actual arrest here. We did a nice dive into it on stream, so enjoy. It really is just a wonderful thing watching Wes Watson get arrested. Alright. Wes Watson lolcow update. Apparently he's getting arrested. Wes Watson has been allegedly arrested by Miami PD an hour ago. Witnesses confirmed he was put in the back of the car. Reason unknown. Probably has something to do with the blatant assault that was on camera. With Wes Watson, it could be a number of things. Maybe it isn't the assault that we watched. Maybe he was, I don't know, hooping paperwork in the bathroom of the gym and someone reported him for it. It really could be anything. The police gadooshing him. Yeah, he just can't stop. He's a gadoosh magnet. And what's really sad and almost poetically beautiful, Wes Watson isn't really a known name, so there's not a single article written about his arrest. It just comes from Ballbusters with 20 likes. You gotta check the county, you have to check the county mugshot to see his charges. Okay. Oh, here we go. Yep, they got it here already. They did all the hard work. Alright. So they got him on battery and aggravated assault, which is what we saw in that footage where he beat that man with weight belts and then his friends were also beating him and he was soccer kicking his head when he was on the ground. What an alpha male, Wes. What an alpha male. But he's back at home. He spent, what, 10 years in jail, and he talked about how much he loved it. Talked about how he'd always, like, show his butthole around or whatever. Whatever he liked to brag about. How good he was at hooping his paperwork. I'm sure he's happy. I bet he is going to be more comfortable in that cell than in his $90,000 or $900,000 a month rented mansion or whatever it is. I already forgot. Numbers always change. 5'8", lol. I mean, everyone knew he was short. Did he pretend he wasn't? That's not surprising. You can literally see him next to people and recognize he's not tall. He's taller than you. Yeah, barely. And I'm short. He used to say he was 6 foot. Oh, Wes. That's so sad. You want to know something even more sad? He's probably not actually 5'8". He's probably closer to my height at 5'6". They probably had him in his fucking clown shoes, giving him an extra 2 inches. Kind of like what they do for basketball stats, where they just put your height like a little inch or two taller. Oh, the mugshot! Oh, see, he looks happy. He looks at peace. This is actually the happiest I've seen him look in, what, months? Because usually he's red in the face, melting down, talking about getting gadooshed by Redditors. He's just perpetually on edge. Even when he's talking to his girl that he rents, he's always, like, mad. And he's always trying to, like, prove something. But here, he looks, like, so serene. He's in his happy place again. He's back in jail, baby! I'm excited to see what they set his bond at. This is fresh, too. This is straight off the press. We got boots on the ground right now for this. How'd they get him? Well, it was filmed. They have multiple angles of him beating the shit out of a man, soccer kicking his head while he's already on the ground and hitting him with weight belts. John Bravo counted it. What was it? 48 hits to the head? From Wes alone? It was something like that. God, it is crazy how he replies to every single person in text messages. I want to be able to identify men by their assholes easier. Nice. That is something Wes said. In Wes's own words, he said people used to identify him not by his face, but his asshole when he was locked up. He would brag about that. He really is a lol cow. He is. He responds to every single DM, every single text message, everything. And then when someone finally takes him up on his infamous "come fight me, bro," he has his friends jump him and they hit him with weapons, dumbbells and weight belts, and then kicking his head while he's on the ground for like 45 seconds, delivering well north of 40 plus blows to the head and 4 soccer kicks. Also, he literally did say that verbatim. I even played the clip. Okay, here. I got him again from my same phone number I pranked him on a month ago. I'm interested in coaching. Let me know and you can go over more details. What's up, bro? What's your main focal point? I'm 5'5", 240. I eat cupcakes, chips all day. I beat my stick 8 times a day. Sometimes I even drink it because it tastes good and I'm a freak, but I want to break that habit. Are you messing with me or do you really do that last part you texted me? Don't waste my time. I really do it. Oh my god, I'm not reading all this. Jesus. $5,999 a month. Or, great deal, $15K for 3 months. Whoa. Wait, I gotta stop the music for that. That's a steal. That's an incredible deal. He's just giving his juice away. He's getting this Krabby Patty secret formula into the hands of desperate men for such a low cost, only $6,000 a month? Holy. Okay, I'll do the 12 months for 40K. Great, you need it. Okay. Oh, is this where the leaf blower meme comes from? Is this the genesis? Do I need a leaf blower to start? Do I need to rent escorts? Do I need to rent supercars? Do I need to rent a mansion? Do I need to beef with Reddit users daily? Do I need to scream at people on Instagram? Do I need to drive around my rental in circles? Does every body part need to be tatted? Do I need to use Metal Gear Solid exclamation points, basically, after every sentence? Do I need to turn gay? Do I need to link up with Lados and Nick and circle jerk with him at Elevation? Also, will Diddy be there? I knew you were a troll. You're nothing but a beta bitch. Fuck off and keep being a pussy. You'll never be anything in life. And then a picture of a leaf blower. This is not real. Nope, it is. Wes Watson, if he wasn't in jail right now, you could test it yourself. If you DM'd him saying like, hey, I'm looking for coaching, he would respond being like, yes, for only $6,000 a month. What do you want? And if you just like hit him with anything like you're a bitch, you'd be like, all right, well, and then he'll go on like Instagram and post a story. So I had this bitch come at a stud like me. Can you believe this? Oh my god. Daily. Actually, I'm gonna check his Instagram right now. I'm gonna wager a guess he has nothing shy of 30 stories just today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Just shy. We just missed it. It's crazy. But here he is. I don't know wonder what he's complaining about.
You'll understand there's a fucking point there. And I know the answer to all of this shit, but you guys don't seem to. You guys keep falling.
It's just because you're a galaxy brain, Wes. No one goes to jail more effectively than you, brother. Yeah, he does that like 30 times a day, at least. Unfortunately, his arrest is going to make it so he's going to fall short of his quota of stories on Instagram, unfortunately. But, you know, it is what it is. When you're a stud like Wes, sometimes you gotta go into the slammer every now and then. It would be over 30 if he wasn't in jail for the past 2 hours. Yeah. Yeah. He got felony charges, lol. Yep. I know. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Wonder how many people send him the 6K. I don't know how many people send him the 6K, but there's a lot of dudes that try and suck on his meat and try and do exactly what he does. So there's like an old guy that this subreddit was clowning on for a while. I forgot his name. I'm sure if I scrolled down far enough, I could just come across him. But there's a couple dudes that do literally what Wes Watson does one-to-one, even mimicking the way he speaks. Like his voice, intonation, everything. One-to-one to try and carbon copy his success. There's a particular clown I've made a couple videos on over the years because he can't help but embarrass himself sometimes. And in the crypto community, he's looked at in the same way a fart is, where it's something that just makes you laugh because it's a little silly and a little stinky. His name is BitBoy Crypto. I'm not here to just give you a recap and go over his resume. There's plenty of content that goes over all of the shady things he's done over the years. Instead, I want to focus on the modern day, present day, 2023 AD, where once again BitBoy Crypto couldn't help but make a fool of himself. He just broadcast an unhinged live stream here on YouTube that frightened more people than the original run of the Blair Witch Project. He was streaming himself outside of an individual's house that he was having beef with and accused him of stealing his Lamborghini. So he was there to confront him directly and had a weapon in his car as well. So the whole situation was dangerous. The things he was saying was alarming, and eventually officers do arrive there, but then there's another plot twist that's revealed at the end that nobody, not even God himself, would have seen coming. This whole stream played out like a mission in Grand Theft Auto 5. So I'm going to show you some clips from it. For the first clip here, I'm not going to show you any of the video footage because he just reveals where this guy lives. So I don't want to show any of that, but I want you to hear the audio because I think it's important.
Carlos has my Lamborghini right here in his garage. So today, guys, I'm going to be live streaming and I'm going to be telling the entire story.
Now, it's important to give even further context to what led to this situation. He's there because he believes this man stole his Lamborghini, and he's going to spill the beans, let the cat out of the bag here, and talk in depth about this individual as well as his association with this deep cast of characters and different things. And it's a lot of very eyebrow-raising, alarming accusations he makes against them with things he's said he's done or things that he's capable of doing. And from everything I've read from the community, as well as everything I've read up on in the BitBoy cinematic universe leading up to this situation, no one knows if any of these accusations are truthful. However, even if everything he says here is beyond a shadow of a doubt the truth, BitBoy Crypto is fluent in facts, all of this is legitimate, everyone can agree that he handled it in the worst way possible. This is not how you should have handled this situation at all. It should have gone to authorities, have it go through court. Instead, Ben, his name is Ben, rolls out here like he's fucking Batman. He's rolling out here like he's the spirit of vengeance, scooting in sideways with his truck and a weapon in his truck, just in case shit gets hairy. Like, that is not optimal at all. And then streaming the whole thing on YouTube, turning it into a fucking spectacle, is bafflingly unhinged.
Hey, how's it going? Yep. Hey, how's it going? Oh, him?
Stop.
Oh, stop. I couldn't hear.
You have a weapon on you.
No, I do not.
Okay.
I do not.
So.
I have one in my vehicle, but I do not have a weapon on me.
Okay.
Now, this is when the cops arrive into the equation. They confront Ben saying, "Hey, bub, what's going on here, Buster, huh? What's all the commotion?" And this is when a very intriguing narrative starts to unwind.
Okay.
Do me a favor. Take out your whatever.
I'm sorry. I reached too fast. I'm sorry. Sorry. Okay.
Put your phone down.
Okay.
Put the phone down.
Okay. I'll put the phone down. Okay.
Put the phone.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Put the phone down.
Put the fanny pack down.
Okay.
Him putting that phone down was harder than getting a child to eat their vegetables. He did not want to put that phone down because for him, it seems like he's fully content-brained, and all of this is great for the stream. So he really didn't want to put that phone down, but eventually he plays ball. But he makes sure to put it down in a way that it still captures him and all of the glory that's happening here. Which is so fucking weird why he wouldn't just turn the stream off here. He is proudly filming his most embarrassing moment in this dimension. He is going to the Doofus Club to receive high accommodation, and he's doing it with a smile on his face.
What's going on?
What's going on? This man inside of this house.
Actually, he's gonna check you real quick.
Absolutely.
Just the weapon.
I'm sorry. I have a. Okay. Okay. Yep. No weapons. No
Where in
weapons.
the car is your gun?
It's in the back seat.
Back seat?
Yep.
Is anybody else in the car?
I feel like I should mention that this wasn't something that caught him off guard. He even said earlier in the stream that he'd like the cops to show up. He knew that this was a very likely situation where cops would arrive at the scene, and he welcomed it with open arms. But now that they're here, it's not exactly seeming like he's all that happy to see them. And the officer just asked him a very important question. Is there anyone else in the car? And boy howdy, you're not ready for what comes next. I don't care how much you've studied the periodic table, you are not prepared for this element of surprise.
Yes,
Who's in the car? Who?
What's that?
Who's in your car?
Who's in my car?
Yes.
Okay. Let's,
Who's in your car?
who's in my car?
Who's in your truck, sir?
Cassie is in my car. Cassie's in my
All
truck.
right, Cassie.
Cassie's in my truck. My wife knows that we're here, by the way. She knows we came to do this. But my wife is aware. So we're live on YouTube right now.
Okay.
We got about 2,500 people watching. So Cassie's a girl I had an affair with. She's She's involved in the situation with me and this guy here.
My jaw was on the floor. I actually felt like I was watching some kind of early 2000s, like Young and the Restless, some kind of soap opera. Like, you couldn't have scripted that any more dramatic. Like, he starts taking those pauses, like, who's in my car? Sweat pouring down his face, maybe like a close-up zoom in. Well, let's, who's, in my car? That car. Yeah, who's in my... And then eventually, he finally spits it out. Fucking Spitboy Crypto here finally lets the officer know who's in the vehicle after he asked the question. The officer had to pull teeth to get there, but he finally states that the woman in the car is the woman he's cheating on his wife with. And then immediately, like, he knows Stream is watching because he made sure of it. He, for some reason, didn't anticipate that the officers would look at his car and realize there's another human being there. So I guess it just never even registered in his smooth brain that the officers were going to find out that the woman he's having an affair with is at the scene. Unless she activated some kind of active camouflage out of Halo or some shit, some kind of forbidden, ninjutsu to disguise herself, like they were going to find her. And for some reason, he kept the stream on, even knowing that was going to happen. So he immediately starts talking to Stream, and not even the officers really, like, but my wife knows that Cassie and I are here. I had an affair with Cassie, but my wife knows we're here. We had actually just come from my daughter's tennis match. She knows we're over here doing this. It's not exactly scummy or slimy because my wife knows that the woman I'm cheating on her with is here with me at the scene with this guy that I'm having this problem with.
In the situation with me and this guy here, my wife knows. We were just at my daughter's tennis match. Cassie and I have came over here because this man is extorting me. He's death threatening me. He stole my Lamborghini. My Lamborghini is in his garage right now.
The officer just did the kindest thing anyone's ever done for BitBoy Crypto in his whole life. He turned the show off. He takes his phone, turns it face down, so that people can no longer see all the action and all of that. Now, he doesn't turn the stream off, maybe he didn't know how, but he puts the phone face down and he leads BitBoy Crypto away from it so you can't really hear him very well and you can't see anything anymore. So he just made it private, which is what this whole thing should have been in the first place. If all of these accusations are true and all of that, it should have been handled privately and instead of turning it into a live stream and escalating to a point where you're bringing a fucking weapon to this guy's house. Now, the stream continues for about 18 minutes after this, but it's all just the void. So you can't see anything anymore. Eventually the stream ends. Now, the stream lasted just shy of 40 minutes, and throughout the entirety of it, he is speaking very rushed. He's very out of breath. Sometimes it really feels like he may be under the influence of something. Of course, I'm not there with a fucking toxicology report. I'm just giving it the old eyeball test. He's just speaking in a way that feels like he's not in his right mind. He's not in a healthy headspace. And most of the community is attributing a lot of this to the really rough month BitBoy Crypto has had. I mentioned that I was reading up on the BitBoy Crypto cinematic universe. Well, that's a novel longer than Homer's Odyssey. It has so much that has happened in Ben's life over the last month that it has been an incredibly long read on getting caught up with the lore. But basically, he's had his whole life turned on its ass. It's in a position now where he feels he has been the victim of a scam, which a lot of people in the community felt was incredibly ironic and actually a gut-bustingly great joke, because for a long time BitBoy Crypto has actually had a reputation for being looked at as a scammer himself in the eyes of some people, with many feeling as though they've been victims of scams that he has run, allegedly. So when that information came out, the floodgates really started to open. A lot happened with his company, and he eventually was saying like he didn't even have $20 to fill up his tank of gas, and then was like asking the community for donations. It was a mess. But a lot of that has been going on over the last month, and then it led up to this. So there is speculation that perhaps this is his breaking point. This is him having a meltdown, a breakdown that he is streaming now. And I think that's probably accurate. This whole situation here doesn't exactly come from a thought process that's thinking rationally. Now, Ben did get arrested at the scene, But you can't put Big Ben in the pin for long. He spent about 8 hours in the slammer, according to his tweet this morning. He was charged with loitering, I guess, and he immediately took to Twitter to let the world know, you don't tussle with the muscle. According to BitBoy Crypto, he's been on steroids, and if that's the case, if that's true, I don't know where his muscles are. He must have minted those on the blockchain. Seems kind of a waste to be on steroids without actually working out. I also watched an interview where someone who has worked closely with Ben has accused him of suffering from roid rage, and I've seen a few people start to say that that's what this stream was, the product of a roid rage incident. I don't think that's the case, and I don't know how true the claim is that he has roid rage blow-ups from time to time, but I thought it was at least worth mentioning as, you know, a maybe that had something to do with this, but personally, I don't think it did. He also did make a lot of other tweets this morning. One of them really just makes it feel like we're stuck in a fucking reality TV show with him now, where he's talking about Cassie, the woman that he's cheating on his wife with. He comes out screaming that he's not getting rid of Cassie, saying that his friends and family have lied, manipulated him, they want to break them up, but he's never getting rid of her, never. And then says, me, my wife, and Cassie are trying to figure this out. We're all grown adults capable of making our own decisions, and we don't need any of you to help us with that decision. So please butt out of my personal life as it relates to my relationships. He's right, it is a personal relationship, and it should be a private matter, but with BitBoy Crypto, there's no such thing as privacy. That word, doesn't exist. He, for a long time, has shared so much about himself and his life online, publicly, for a long time. So, obviously, people know a lot about his situation because he kind of shares a lot of it. He may be a goofball, but he is correct about something here, that they are all adults and they can make their own decisions. That is true. But if I may chime in with a little unsolicited advice to his wife, don't stay with a man who's going to cheat on you. Why be faithful to a man who's not going to be faithful to you? If this was a polyamorous relationship and it was agreed upon in this marriage where they could see other people, that'd be one thing, that'd be fine, you'd be on the same page. But from everything that's been put out there, it was not a poly relationship. This was an extracurricular activity happening outside of the marriage. So if you want to try and work through it together, that's your right, that's totally fine, that's what you want to do. But just know, he has very much drawn a line in the sand. No matter what happens, come hell or high water, Cassie will be there. So basically, you're now making a decision moving forward on whether you want to stay with BitBoy Crypto and also marry his mistress, because he's made it clear, she's not going anywhere. She's tagging along forever in this WWE match we call life. So again, they're adults, they can make their own decision what they want to do with this. This is a private matter that, for some reason, BitBoy just keeps taking publicly. But anyway, just a wildly dangerous and bafflingly unhinged situation here with this stream, and that's really about it. Just wanted to give you the update on the BitBoy Crypto saga here. That's it. See ya. I first heard whispers about this story a few days ago and talked about it briefly on stream, but a ton of information wasn't known about it at the time, and now a lot's happened with it since. So in a nutshell, an anonymous user in a Minecraft Discord dropped some classified documents into the server, and it was initially written off as a bunch of fanfic nonsense, just a load of dirty barnacles, a bunch of hooey. And fast forward a little bit, and it turns out that what was shared in that Discord was legitimate classified Pentagon leaks. So it became the subject of a huge investigation because they realized there was a huge security risk because someone just leaked real Pentagon documents in a fucking Minecraft Discord. So they then began scrambling to identify the person responsible for the leaks. I have no doubt they investigated Herobrine, that dirty bastard. But ultimately, they concluded their manhunt and found the person responsible. It's a 21-year-old young man whose life has now forever changed course, all due to this leak. His name is Jack, or he goes by his online handle, Jack the Dripper, which is such a banger of a username, especially in this situation. And when they identified him, they sent the whole kit and caboodle after him. They assembled the goddamn A-team to take him in. Look at this shit. They spared no expense here. Probably had like fucking 15 choppers and a submarine pull up. They got the goddamn G.I. Joe out here for them. I can't see it in the video, but I have no doubt that there's also 45 ghillie-suited soldiers laying down in the grass just in case things pop off and get a little hairy here. What's even wilder is this is considered one of the worst breaches of US national security in this century. That is incredible that it happened in a fucking Minecraft Discord from Jack the Dripper, just feeling a little drippy, so he leaked a bit. He leaked these documents which have now become one of the biggest security breaches in this country's history. There's more than 50 documents that have been fucking potato sacked onto the internet now. The ones that have attracted the most attention include details from the US military briefings on the war in Ukraine, and there's so many questions about why this happened, and according to the analysts, the possible answers range from a failure of operational procedure inside the Pentagon to someone trying to win an argument on the internet. I fully subscribe to the belief that this was all motivated by an online argument. The last 5 or 6 years have truly laid bare human nature, and the main thing we care about is winning fucking useless arguments online. There is no length people won't go to defend points, and there is nothing that they won't sacrifice for it. It's like a religion at this point, just arguing on Twitter about nonsense. Oh, you said Demon Slayer's mid? Bang. Here's some classified legitimate CIA documents about Area 51, bitch. Ratio. Demon Slayer top tier. Like, literally will do anything. It's sacred to win an argument online. So I really do feel like that was the primary catalyst for why these leaked in the first place. There's also these tweets that show screenshots from 4chan with someone using some of the information in these documents to argue. On March 4th, over a month before the Telegram and 4chan post, 10 documents were posted in a Discord server called Minecraft Earth Map. So, clearly, these were dropped and then used in arguments in order to get, like, a one-up on people. And I bet they immediately wrote that shit off as fake news, garbage, baloney, which is wild because they are legitimate Pentagon documents that are confirmed authentic. But I guarantee it was useless in the argument and it got slapped down and written off as absolute fucking horseradish. Arguing online is more important than breathing to a lot of people. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this really was why it leaked in the first place, to win arguments against people. So I agree with the tweet here. This is going to be like an iconic 4chan moment up there with like pool closed due to AIDS and shit. Pentagon leaks just to argue on the boards. I'm getting a little off topic, but I absolutely have to slide this in here and mention something that's very similar. War Thunder has actually had its fair share of controversy similar to this, where disgruntled gamers have leaked classified documents due to being upset at the in-game depiction of the tanks. So it's happened a couple of times, and they get into an argument on the forums about the way that the tanks were portrayed in there, like their stats and all of that, I believe. So in order to prove their point, they would drop the fucking manuals to the tanks, which are classified documents, I guess, in order to prove, like, hey, this is a bunch of fucking baloney. Why would they possibly represent the tank like this when it's clearly in the real world like this? Which is a crazy mic drop, like, this is fucking stupid, you guys don't know what you're doing, here's the manual. And why don't we actually look at the real tank and then you can get it right? Goddamn idiots. So they've done this a few times, just leaking classified documents in order to win arguments about these tanks in War Thunder, which is such a power move. That goes so crazy. Hell hath no fury like a gamer scorned. Wild stuff. But anyway, we'll get back on track with the Minecraft Pentagon leaks. Now, Jack the Dripper, or as he was also known in another community, OG, is a 21-year-old who was part of the intelligence wing of the Massachusetts Air National Guard. They were able to kind of hone in on him pretty quickly. It was only a few days after this whole thing blew up. So they're saying there doesn't seem to be a clear motive here, and they're also unsure of exactly how many documents were leaked. So some are saying it's 50, some are saying it's all the way up to 100. And they're also saying that the amount of people that would have clearance to this is actually pretty significant. So he was posting these leaks weekly, beginning late last year, all the way up until last month. They said that a few documents were shared on Russian Telegram channels, which were crawling with journalists trying to understand what Russian groups are doing in the Ukraine and looking for original images or information from inside the war. And once that really started to catch a lot of steam, that's when it really put it on the radar here. Is like, oh, there's like a security problem, which is what prompted all of this to start being taken so seriously. The Washington Post described the Discord server as an invitation-only clubhouse with about 25 active users, where an elder-like figure known as OG lectured younger members of the group on global affairs and secretive government operations. So they actually had their own little, like, Illuminati table here, like something out of a fucking James Bond movie where they all get into a Minecraft Discord server for a bit just to talk about these top secret documents and go over it. Now, the war room here where most of this played out was in a Discord channel called Thug Shaker Central, which was populated by mainly fans of a YouTuber named Oxide. Now, Jack is a 21-year-old, and he's not even an intelligence analyst, so there's already been a lot of questions being asked about how he'd even have access to these documents in the first place. But he did have a higher level of clearance because his role was ensuring network protection. And my man here used that clearance to go absolutely hog wild on some classified documents for the Thug Shaker Central. I also just love that they're going to have to do this investigation very, very thoroughly, and the place they're going to have to keep going to is Minecraft Discords and Thug Shaker Central, in order to really capture the magnitude of Jack the Dripper and his security breach. That is just, like, that's actual fucking, like, fanfic levels of craziness. This is a failure of imagination as far as counterintelligence goes, but I think the absurdity of the leak is also something we need to grapple with. An understanding of these communities is not something you would expect senior folks in the US government to have been able to build a threat model around. Which sounds about right. A lot of our leaders are old fucking fossils that don't even know what an email is half the time. So I have no doubt they never once even envisioned this as a possibility, that some guy might just start shitposting classified documents. Whereas I'm surprised it's taken this long, and I bet it's actually happening more commonly than we think, and we just don't see it that much because it stays in smaller communities like Thug Shaker Central. Like, I imagine it's not exactly the most unheard of thing in the world. It's just this is the one that really started to catch steam because it had been so long and continuing to go. Overall, just a wild situation, especially considering these weren't just like useless documents that meant nothing or anything. These contained sensitive information and were very much important documents that were being shared and dropped in Minecraft Discord and then circulated elsewhere. So pretty crazy stuff all around that I had to talk about it because, my God, how could you not? That's really about it. So yeah, Twitch chat is a place where common sense and reasoning goes to die. At least for the most part. There is some unhinged chatters out there, and I swear to God, some of them aren't even like real people. They feel like figments of an imagination from your worst nightmare. Or like lobotomy victims all spouting some nonsensical garbage that isn't even related to what's happening in the stream. But now I'd like to introduce you to the final boss of unhinged Twitch chatter. This guy. Danny sent me this today, and I haven't heard anyone talk about this, which is surprising, because this is one of those, like, weirder stories that I feel people would be talking about from Twitch. So this guy made a statement in an unnamed streamer's chat claiming that he was about to go kill some people in a mass shooting, and then he got arrested for it because the chatters warned the FBI, and they actually acted on it. So he said that mass murder was coming soon in the Twitch chat, and then they actually showed up and arrested this man, and he's now about to face some serious repercussions for this. This is also, surprisingly, like the first time I feel the FBI's ever acted on something like this. I can't remember which mass shooter it was, but one of the mass shooters had made a statement similar to this in a YouTube stream, and the FBI was tipped off about it. And they had already like identified that guy as a person of interest, and they still didn't act on it, and he actually did follow through and kill people. What mass shooter was that? Does anyone remember? Was it Nicholas Cruz? It might have been. But yeah, so I think this is a good thing. I am happy to hear that they took action about that. 100%. With everything that's been going on, this is a fat W. Huge L for this fucking loser, but like a big W for law enforcement. I'm glad they finally bothered to take any level of proactive action here, for sure. Now, when he was apprehended and questioned by authorities, he admitted that the account was his and that the comments were stupid, saying that he was in a dark place, kind of similar to like a YouTuber apology video, honestly. He was saying like he was depressed, intoxicated, and he was recently going through a loss in the family, so he made those comments, which isn't a justification at all for what he said. Like, it's sad to hear that he was going through such tough shit, but that doesn't at all excuse these kind of threats. And I do consider these threats now. This isn't just like nonsensical hoopla tossed out there. I no longer view it as it's just a prank, bro. It's just me goofing around being a little silly, threatening some mass murder. When there have been so many mass shootings, and like I mentioned in the stream, one case just like this where someone made a very similar threat and then followed through on it shortly thereafter. And you see so many times, like almost every time there's a mass shooter, the authorities come out and they're like, yeah, we actually knew that this guy was a threat. We also knew about the things he was saying online. Like, we actually even had him in our custody for a little while. We gave him a fist bump and told him, like, you know, it's all good now. We looked into your eyes, into the windows of your soul, and we decided you probably won't do it. And then he did it. So we were kind of shocked and almost betrayed that he did it. But yeah, we knew like all of these details. And then you always like are left scratching your head like, well, why didn't you act on it? Like, maybe get guns away from that person or something. So even if this guy wasn't a legitimate threat, he wasn't some Gotham villain about to poison the water supply or start spouting riddles off to Batman, it's still good, and I view it as a very positive thing that the authorities went to investigate, to confirm whether or not this individual had plans to harm himself or others. I'm glad it wasn't a threat that was taken lightly or falling on deaf ears, just because I don't think there's any reason to take that chance anymore when something just like this happened and did lead to a lot of innocent deaths. So I do think this is a good thing, but I have seen a lot of people making the slippery slope argument about, well, if everyone's chats are being policed and you can be arrested for things you say anonymously in a chat room, that could lead to a lot of other things where people are getting punished for really minor offenses. And I can kind of see where that stance is coming from, that perspective, because, for example, E-Rob, who is a Twitch streamer, nay, that's doing him a disservice. He's more than a streamer. He's a goddamn icon. E-Rob made a joke with one of his viewers in his offline Twitch chat about beating him up at TwitchCon. It was just a threat made in jest between two people that knew each other, and E-Rob got reported for it in the offline chat, and Twitch banned him for a whole month because of that threat, even though it was just a joke. And they didn't fall back on the ban. He spent the entire time in the slammer, in purgatory, unable to stream, all because he made that joke that was taken to the principal's office by the hall monitor, and he was unjustly disciplined for it. So I can see why people would then take this situation where this man was arrested after his threats and blow it up to a bigger scale where if this is more commonplace, who's to say authorities won't start just striking people down for really small things without looking at like the bigger context or even bothering to see if they were joking or whatever. Like, I do kind of understand where that's coming from, but I still think at the end of the day, it'd be very dangerous and stupid to ignore threats like this guy was making. Multiple threats about mass murder coming soon, killing 20 people, shit like that. He made himself sound like he was just gonna be fucking piling up corpses in the street. Like, that is something that I don't think should be taken lightly and shouldn't be ignored. So I am happy they stepped in for that. So I do hope they continue to take threats like this seriously because it could very well prevent a tragedy. This isn't the only time a mass shooter has advertised their upcoming crimes. And while this guy may not have had any plans to do it, some of the other ones have and have followed through on it, and authorities didn't act until it was too late. Now this does bring me to an extremely important point to mention with this whole subject, and that's the curious case of Josh Palault, whom I've made a video on and who's been on our podcast twice now because his situation was so unique and fascinating and just at times downright diabolical. This shit grabs your nipples and fucking titty twisters them. Like, his whole case, his situation and everything is unreal to believe that it actually happened. And it's very similar to what we're talking about right now. Josh, quite a long time ago while playing RuneScape and drinking, made a threat on the game about a school shooting. Don't go to school the next day, that kind of thing. And the Jagex, the company behind RuneScape, the developers, got tipped off to what Josh had said, and they forwarded that information to the authorities. So then the authorities scoot in sideways, kick down the door, throw the cuffs on him, and then absolutely steam his fucking ham. He received 6 years in prison. This was not a light sentence by any means. 6 full years, which he served the entire term of, because they determined that they had reason to believe he was like an actual possible threat. And I'm not going to get into like the actual nitty gritty of the case, but with all of the information out there, it feels like it was an extreme case of corruption here that led to him receiving a 6-year punishment. He was a kid who was drinking and saying some stupid, edgy shit online, and it doesn't seem like there was any real evidence to suggest that he was going to go out and hurt people or do anything horrible, that he was just making those shitty, edgy threats. Now, I do think it was right that they stepped in to investigate, just to be sure and just to be safe. But then after they go through the whole song and dance of the investigation, they should have reached the conclusion that this is just an edgy troll. And yes, of course, get slapped with some kind of penalty or charge about making like ridiculous threats online. That's completely fine and understandable. But 6 years because they viewed him like a fucking terrorist made no sense. So I do think with a case like what we were talking about today initially, and comparing it to Josh Palalt's case, I do think that there is a level that needs to be had from the authorities where they take these threats seriously, but then they also have to be fair with the investigation, where if they determine it's just some edgy asshole with no real or imminent threat to the people around them, well then charge them for the threats, but don't go the extra mile with this vendetta, this grudge against them where you just want to see them behind bars forever. Now in the case that we're talking about today with the Twitch chatter who made these threats of mass murder, he's currently facing charges of written threats to kill or do bodily harm. Now, that seems to fit the crime. That seems like a punishment that fits the crime. That's exactly what he did. They determined he didn't have any firearms, and they seem confident that he was never actually going to carry out these things. Thus, he's just being charged with the threats of doing these things as opposed to, like, the potential act of doing them. So, I think that overall this whole thing is a good thing from the authorities. It doesn't seem like they're making the same mistake they made with Josh Palalt here, where they try and throw the whole book at him, just get the whole kit and caboodle tossed his way. It seems like they know very much what's happening here. They took it seriously, and they're pursuing charges that I think are appropriate for what they've done. Now, I just wanted to talk about this situation because I thought this was a pretty important one. Again, if this was a very unwell individual who was going to carry out something terrible like this, then this would have absolutely just saved lives. And regardless, I think it is still a good precedent to set where you shouldn't be making these kind of stupid, reckless, dangerous threats online in the first place. Like, I do think this charge that he's facing for it is appropriate, and I just wanted to talk about that. That's about it. See ya. I have been following the Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX collapse closer than I've followed anything else in my entire life. I've been tuning in actively to every single thing that Sam Bankman-Fried's been doing. I've been like the NSA on his ass, just watching every Q&A, every painful, uncomfortable interview he does. I was there watching like a hawk. Every time his silly little mouth uttered the words, I don't know, I couldn't know, I don't remember, I don't recall, I'm not sure. I was there, with fucking blood pouring out of my ears, having to listen to his grating little helium-infused fucking voice try to weasel his way out of every question tossed his way. I was there watching. I spent more time studying Sam Bankman-Fried than I did studying for my SATs. And now, we are finally reaching the climax to this entire ordeal. Sam Bankman-Fried has officially been arrested. It is such a breath of fresh air. Like, I was actually shocked that he got arrested because over the last couple weeks, I really started to believe he was going to get away with it. With the way journalists write about him, like he's some kind of angel, and to the fact that there was no, like, open investigation that I was hearing about, like, often, I just thought he was just going to get away from all of this. He was booking interviews up until, like, yesterday when he was arrested. He still had, like, interviews booked with major outlets. Like, I just thought, you know what, game over. The bad guy wins. You know, there is no justice. But then, out of nowhere, like a deus ex machina, he gets arrested. And it turns out they've been investigating him, and this is going to be a very big case. So, a great, great plot twist here that I'm super happy to see. So let's go over the situation here. I went over it on stream, so I'll just play you the clips from that. So SBF did finally get arrested in the Bahamas. It is amazing news. And somehow, even in all of that, this headline still finds a way to suck his dick a bit. How effective altruism let Sam Bankman-Fried and the FTX collapse happen. They're still calling this fucking fraud altruistic. It is despicable. Absolutely despicable. Even still, right now. Crazy. It's just crazy. But yeah, he got arrested in the Bahamas. And with any luck, he'll be facing some very extreme charges. I don't see how he wiggles his way out of it. It really feels like this will finally be some justice served. I'm going to imagine at this point Sam Bankman-Fried is really regretting all of those interviews he's been doing. I bet he is really kicking sand like, damn, maybe I should have stopped doing Twitter Q&As where I just actually admit to crimes. Who could have expected this result? Why didn't he just lie low? Bro, I have no idea why he didn't just lie low. He was just so addicted to the meat swallowing. Like in the crypto space, when you have a crypto project it doesn't even have to be successful. You have your cock handled by crypto bros 24/7. They fight for you on Twitter, they run all of your marketing for you for free, and I'm just assuming he was used to that kind of attention. He wanted to continue to be looked at like this god that the crypto community treated him like. I do wonder, and I didn't read this in the other article I read about it, granted it wasn't this article, I do wonder if they're going to go after his girlfriend, the 28-year-old Harry Potter fan. What did she do to get labeled as a Harry Potter fan? I don't know. So when they were still writing all those fluff pieces after everything came collapsing, or actually it might have been before, I don't remember the timeline now. They're writing articles about her, calling her like, look at this 28-year-old Harry Potter fan who's managing billions here. Wow, it's absolutely incredible. And then she'd be doing these interviews where she just doesn't know what she's talking about. So now that's become her legacy. She's the 28-year-old Harry Potter fan. Very quirky. Does Atrioc talk about it? Here, let me watch Big A's new video on it. I bet Atrioc is celebrating so fucking hard. He has been doing such a great job with this story from the very beginning. I bet Atrioc's wiggling his finger right now.
Ladies and gentlemen,
that looks about right.
Two things for stealing and defrauding millions of customers.
So I'm gonna say I didn't think we'd get here. I was losing so much faith in an actual set of consequences for Sam Bankman-Fried. I am absolutely shocked. I really didn't think we'd be able to get him. It didn't seem like they even cared. This man was still booking interviews with the biggest outlets imaginable. And they were still writing pieces about him being like a hero who had some unavoidable catastrophe happen unjustly. I just didn't think it happened. I really didn't. I was losing faith, but then we brought it back, baby. And now we have a potential good conclusion to this anime arc for Sam Bankman-Fried. And that FTX hat that Big A's wearing is fire. That's looking good here.
But a person close to the matter has revealed, according to this New York Times article, that the charges include wire fraud conspiracy, securities fraud conspiracy, and money laundering. He got hit with the quintuple whammy. And the thing is,
sir,
I've
the
read
5
a lot
fingers.
of articles like this
That's
one
big.
for the past month now, especially because he's been on a notorious PR tour for the past month, going around to every media outlet that'll have him and saying, oops, I fucked up.
Yeah.
And in every one of these
that
interviews,
defense.
anytime someone asks him a hard question, you have to promise to never ever say you fucked up again. I told them to go fuck themselves.
What a hero.
Well, you might want to
What a
listen to him,
saint.
Sam, because it is looking extremely likely that a lot of that's going to come back to haunt you.
The thing is, like, I said this when we were talking about the CoffeeZilla interview. His defense has been, this entire time, I'm just an idiot. I'm so stupid, man. I'm so sorry for all of these mistakes. I'm just dumb. I'm just this absolute brain-dead troglodyte, and, I'm just a dummy. And that was his whole defense. Like, you can't arrest me. I'm stupid. Like, that's been the entire time, and it's been working. Like, it's actually been fucking working. But yeah, I have to imagine his lawyers have not been happy with the way he's been conducting himself in terms of defense. And like the open admittance to fraud with CoffeeZilla. That certainly didn't help. I do think CoffeeZilla's interview will actually be cited in court. It has to be usable, right? Like that's not... Like that wouldn't be something that they could keep out. Like I feel like that'd be a good piece of evidence.
over and over again. There isn't an innocent explanation. I'm a goof. I'm a big, dumb goof.
Yeah.
I'm a big, curly-haired, League of Legends loving goof. And I didn't know. I didn't know that you couldn't take customer funds and punt it on crypto and lie about it. I didn't know that. I didn't know you could replace all the deposits with a made-up FTT token. In fact,
What do you mean I can't just take all the customers' assets and buy worthless shitcoins with it? What? That's terms of service. Our terms of service? You mean I violated those? I have to play by those rules? No, that's... No, oh my god, how silly could I be? This is how embarrassing. I'm so sorry. This is just a really, really, absolutely embarrassing moment for me.
issue a brand new FTT token and distribute that.
What?
That's a productive plan. No! That is not the solution.
What the fuck?
Sam, that was the problem. That's why you're here to begin with. I made a lot of mistakes.
Who wrote that? This is like, that is just the actual biggest Twitter crypto moment I've seen in a minute. Give the worst possible idea, and then some people for some reason agree with it. Hey, yeah, just fire on the old money printer. Why doesn't Sam Bankman-Fried just print more dollars to make everyone whole again? Fuck, it's that easy.
Again, already
We knew that,
should be
yeah.
illegal. Second, Alameda used client funds to engage in margin trading.
We knew that.
Extremely risky
Now it's proven
debt-fueled
nice.
trading. So, taking your money that you deposited in a bank to be held safely and then punting it on incredibly risky crypto bets without your knowledge or consent. Again, illegal. And
This is really cool, because this is exactly what CoffeeZilla called him out on to his face. Directly to him, where SBF kind of had his armor dented and just, like, admitted it. Like, straight admitted it to CoffeeZilla. Those, like, 2 points in particular. And now we have the Enron guy, assuming this is his real statement, I imagine it is. We have the Enron guy echoing that, which is wonderful. They also forgot a charge for sucking ass at League. Well, we haven't finished all the charges yet. They're not all unveiled. So that could still be tacked on there for being hard stuck bronze 3. Check CoffeeZilla's community tab. Oh, did he post something in the community tab? It's gotta be him, like, taking a shot or something, like maybe just pumping his fist saying, "I told you so." Or like, "I did it." He should absolutely be taking some credit. Oh, no, he's just hyping up the video for tomorrow. Fuck yeah, nice. I thought this was gonna be a picture of him just maybe doing a little TikTok dance or something to celebrate. Do I think he'll see any jail time? Yes. I was skeptic. I started to lose faith that he'd actually be arrested, but now that he is, those charges are huge. I just don't know how he could possibly weasel his way out. If he had just shut the fuck up, like if after all of this happened, if he had just gone dark, off grid, you know, have his mommy and daddy buy him a farm somewhere in the middle of fucking nowhere, no electricity, live like an Amish person for a while, I think he may have been able to squeak his way out. I think maybe. But he has been so open with this shit for the last month and a half. I can't imagine a world where he could, you know, squeak a little stinker out of there and not face jail time. He was too addicted to clout. He's gonna call Saul. Yeah, I mean, anyone shy of Saul he's fucked. His parent, yeah, chat's right, his parents are compliance lawyers, but I don't think that means they can somehow save their son here. Like, that's kind of useless at this stage of the game. I don't see how them being compliance lawyers is in any way going to be helpful to getting him out of these charges.
next topic, which is what I'm a little bit nervous about. Again, I am no conspiracy nut, but being a crypto billionaire, former or otherwise, is...
He's gonna... I'll brief... Well, he'll probably give the context. There was a crypto billionaire recently who turned up dead after making a... I don't know if it was one post or a series of posts alluding to the fact that some very dangerous people were after him. That was some pretty shady shit. That was a pretty creepy thing. That happened only a few days ago. And apparently that was one of only like 2 or 3 or maybe even more crypto billionaires that have turned up dead recently. So it is like that is a pretty scary set of circumstances. Yeah, it's like actually getting Epsteined. Except this one was just blatant murder. Like, I believe the most recent crypto billionaire was like his body was found at the sea, like it washed up on shore. Let me double check.
Mr. Koolander here died at 30 a few days ago. This guy. Mushigan, Nikolai Mushigan, 29, died a few days ago. Yeah, Taran. So, a Russian crypto tycoon, he died in a helicopter accident. Now, again, all of these seem to have innocent explanations, but 3 of them dying within a few days of each other, all in the crypto space, is odd.
Yeah, it is peculiar. I would say the one with the paranoid tweets isn't exactly like the most innocent explanation. Let me double check. Which one was that? Right before Nikolai passed away, he tweeted some suspicious conspiracies surrounding the government on October 28th. Okay, so not that soon. Tweeted that the CIA and Mossad and some pedophile-related organizations noted as the pedo elite are running some kind of sex trafficking and blackmailing business from Puerto Rico and the Caribbean islands. And then he said that they're going to frame him with a laptop planted by his ex-girlfriend who was a spy, and they will torture him to death. So that does read like somebody that's a bit paranoid, but he actually did turn up dead in Puerto Rico not long after. Previously, he's mentioned fighting some evil people who use debt and blackmail as weapons and claimed that he shall be murdered under the disguise of suicide by the FBI. It is very strange. The cause of death is just drowning, right? He left his beach house located in the posh locality Condad of San Juan for a morning walk. His estate is estimated to be $6 million. Later in the morning at around 9 a.m., some local surfers discovered his body at a Puerto Rico beach. They reported it to the police, and his identity was confirmed. They mentioned the beach is famous among surfers, although Nikolai was not known to be inclined towards surfing. They also noted that it's dangerous due to swift currents and rocks, and signboards are warning to be safe, but they're speculated to have broken due to the typhoon. So, a bit odd. But yeah, his tweets actually do read like someone that's probably got some kind of mental illness, but he really did turn up dead here. So, maybe he really was being hunted. That's the conspiracy. It is weird. It is weird. Especially since it's already the 3rd crypto billionaire death in a short period of time.
Why? We want to hear more about what was going on at this company and who else was complicit, because this is fraud that stinks to the top. And we don't want
I can assure you, the 28-year-old Harry Potter fan is all but innocent in this. I'm shocked that, well, they must not have found a paper trail for her yet. I'm shocked that she's not already in their net. So I speculate that during the trial, she gets roped into all of this. He's not making it to trial. That's getting deep in the weeds. I just can't imagine what he would have on people that they'd want to shut him up for.
It's awesome to see him arrested, and I'll be following up this story consistently. You can tune in on my Twitch channel, check out more, and watch out for more YouTube videos. Thanks, guys, for watching, and let's keep an eye on this.
Yeah, Big A's been doing such an amazing job covering this entire saga of SBF and FTX. I don't really know what the speed of movement is on a case this big. Maybe this is quick by other standards, but to me it felt remarkably slow. And maybe that's just because of how painful the journey was to get here, with all of the major news outlets treating it like he wasn't a fraud. So maybe that's why it felt so long to me. I don't know. Yeah, most people are saying this was super fast. So yeah, it really must have just been all of the news outlets that really made me feel like this was not only not coming, but also excruciatingly long.